So last year, being 2024, I really lost track on something I said I wanted to do, and I just didn't follow through with that as I really wanted to. And that happened to be backups, talking about them and demonstrating them, showing how to do stuff within Acronis True Image. Now, they went from another name, which was like Acronis Cyber Home Protect. They went from True Image to Cyber Home Protect, and now they're back to True Image. So I do have an older video, which being only about 10, 11 months old, they were still, I believe, the Home Protect, but now they're back to True Image, which is their original model. Today, I wanted to discuss on making bootable media being like a rescue thumb drive. So in case your system crashes and your hard drive dies, but you have a backup, in order to restore that backup, you're going to need something like this to be able to do it. There are a couple other different ways, but this is one way that I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you want to follow these steps and get one or two of these ready, and you make one of these, you set it aside for that rainy day. You don't touch this, you don't put anything else on it. I'm going to show you how to do it, so stay right there. All right, so what we're going to do is open up Acronis True Image right here. This is something that I just downloaded onto the Dark Dragon here because not only I can demonstrate stuff, but I also need it on here because I do put more files on here. I have stuff like screenshots, screen recordings, and so on that I would really like to have backups of. So we are going to get started here. Actually, yeah, I want to skip that. Okay, so let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger so you can see everything on this page. Let's get it centered in the page here. Okay, so normally it ends up here in your backup location. I haven't even done one backup of this Dark Dragon yet, or of this PC yet. But what I want to do is I want to come down here to where it says Tools. Then here you have a whole bunch of things, and we're going to talk about probably each one of these, or a bunch of these anyway, individually, not all in one sitting here. So one thing I want to focus on right here is the Rescue Media Builder. Now, what you are going to need, and I was kind of playing with and I forgot to show you, but you are going to need a thumb drive. And the capacity doesn't matter as much as the read and write speeds. Now, this one's actually pretty slow. It's got a read speed of 167, I wrote right on it, and a write speed of only 27. I don't know if I'm going to demonstrate with this one, to be honest, because this will take a lot more of my time, but you'll get the picture of what you kind of have to do. I'll just use this one because this is, quite frankly, probably one I'm going to use anyway, because I don't want to use any of my good ones. I use those for more for data transfers and going in between PCs. If I am rebuilding this, honestly, I don't need it to happen like in a second or two, so we'll just use this. So whatever PC that you are going to be wanting to recover, just put it in that, or whatever the one is for Acronis that you have open, truly. So we're going to put this right in there. We're going to come back over here to the computer. There is something here I'm going to just delete. I don't know what that was. I don't care. Now, this does say BIOS test on it. Now, well, I'm going to format this. So we're going to come up here, right-click on it, and click on Format. And then we're going to pick FAT32. We're going to do a quick format. And then we're going to name this Acronis. Oops. I don't know why the caps lock is on. So let's try Acronis 2025. And then we're going to click Start. And there we go. Format complete. All right. So we're going to close that. Now, right here where it says Rescue Media Builder, we're going to click on that. And we can do advanced, but I generally don't like to do that unless you're doing somebody else's computer. The simple one is configure it for your computer. It's just quick, dirty, and simple right for this. So matter of fact, what I could do, it makes it a little bit easier. Whoops, let me reformat this. Well, I could just rename it, but let's just rename it. We want to rename this into Dark Dragon. Okay. All right, so now what we want to do is just hit this Rescue Media Builder, and we could do the advanced. If you do advanced, you got a couple of different options here. We're not going to be doing those. We're just going to be doing the simple one, because this particular thumb drive is going to be good for just this computer. Now, you could use it in another computer, but it's going to be optimized for my PC, the Dark Dragon, only, not for any other PC in here. Not that I couldn't recover it with another PC though. So we're going to click on Simple, and then right down here where it says Dark Dragon, so we're going to click on this. Space required, that's okay because we have a 16 gigabyte hard drive or thumb drive, and then we're going to click Proceed. This is all automatic. I don't have to touch a thing on here, and this thing is going to put all the contents that we need on here and get that ready for us in case we ever have a problem. So you might be asking yourself, or asking me through on the other side of the camera, what do I need this for? Well, let's say that the Dark Dragon had a problem here. Dragons don't have problems, do they? But let's say that it just crashed. It wouldn't start up, and I found out that the M.2 NVMe is totally corrupt. It just won't even boot into Windows. Maybe I can get so far and then it locks up. Well, I have a backup somewhere else. Usually you don't have it on the same drive. You'll have it on a different drive. So let's say I put another drive in here, or I just have a backup of the C drive, but it's not in the PC. It's not connected. Well, this you would stick in there, and you can use this as an environment outside of Windows. It's going to open up Acronis. It's going to look almost just like a little different. It's not going to look like the online or in Windows Acronis, but it's going to have a recovery window that you can navigate and actually restore an image. So you would put a new drive in there because that one's corrupt. You take the old one out, you put a new one in, and then you use this and you boot into it. You boot into that environment. And then you can take your backup, so you have a new drive in there, you boot into this, then you can connect, or you can do it all at the same time, as long as you can differentiate between the new drive that's in the PC and your backup, your physical backup, which is another drive. If you can differentiate that, you plug them both in at the same time, you boot into this, you find your backup, and you restore it to the one that's in the drive, and it's like everything's the same. And I have demonstrated this. I do have a video, but we'll kind of demonstrate just how to boot into this. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so we can see that it did complete here. Acronis bootable media has been created successfully. When Windows cannot start, follow these simple steps to recover your system. So remember in the beginning when I was telling you about this, how you got to insert this and you got to boot to it. And that's just the way it goes. This is kind of just telling you the steps on how to do what I just said. All right, so now that you have your bootable media here for Acronis, I'm going to demonstrate not on this because I'm not going to do a full recovery on that, but I will demonstrate on this. And did you also know that you can actually go offline, and in this environment, you can actually do a backup through this. Now, it's a little... not backwards, but it takes more time because you have to shut down the computer, you have to boot into this, and then you have to do your backup, and then disconnect, and then you have to reboot again, get back into Windows, and then you have your backup in a different location. So it takes a little bit longer, but you still can do it with this. So even though we have Acronis on this, I can use this to do a backup. So I'll demonstrate a little bit on this, and that way you can get an idea. I'll talk about this a little bit more in another video that I'm going to do, but you have all kinds of options of how to actually back up your PC. This could be an external drive. This is an SSD, very expensive. This is 4 terabytes. You could take one of these 2.5-inch M.2 SATA drives, and you get this $8, $10 cable. You hook this up. This is USB on this end. This hooks up to this end. There's your backup. And these don't break. These are very rugged and resistant. Or you could have another M.2 with an M.2 dock, and you could back up this way. You could also have an NVMe or M.2 enclosure and do it that way. You could have a mechanical hard drive, which I have. You could have a Synology. There's tons of ways to do your backup so they're not still on here. Just a quick FYI. Okay, so we have the ASRock motherboard here booted into Windows, and what we're going to do is I just want to show you how much data is on here first. Always grab the wrong mouse. So we are going to, I just want to show you, I only have one drive in here. This is the local C drive. And we're going to do a right click, come down to properties, and use space. We have 93 gigabytes. So, now, in order to get into here, we are going to do a reset on here, restart. But first, because I have to go into the BIOS to actually get this to recognize it. So we're going to plug that in, and it's using some of the same bandwidth, so I have to plug this into a different port. Hope. Well, it's is it still using the same? It's still using the same bandwidth. Oh, geez, what a pain. All right, there we go. We're going to do a restart. We're going to hit that delete key. Oop. Hit the delete key. Hurry. We need to get into the BIOS because we need to do an override boot to this. Or we could do, it might be F12. Let's see if it's F12. Sometimes it's like F12 or something like that. And we can do a boot override. Otherwise, I'd have to go into the BIOS. Sometimes it's big. I can't see it. I think we missed it. All right, we'll go into the BIOS because it's too small for me to read it. And since I'm going through a capture card, I'll get in there. Just hold up a second. We're going to try this again. This time we're going to do F11 or F8. And so I think I was pushing F12, and I think ASRock might be F11 or F8. Let's just try these two ways, see if one of them works. So I do see something small down here. Okay, we got it. So what we want is partition 1 of this one. Now remember, this is the thing that we just made on the Dark Dragon. We're just waiting for Acronis to pop up here. Sometimes you have to push like 1 for starting Acronis, but we're just waiting for it to load. This is a slower drive, and it would be much better if you could get a higher performance drive that's very low capacity. There we go. So right here, look at this. We have some options here, but we can't expand this. Oops, or can we? No, it doesn't look like we can expand this. So what do you want to do? We can do a backup, a recovery, or logs. This is actually really tough for me to see because it is a little small. Oh, maybe I can make it big like that. That helps a little bit. That's a list of tools and utilities. Sometimes you can clone a disk, add a new disk, yep, clone a disk. Okay, so what we want to do is I'm going to plug this in to, there is a Thunderbolt connection here. So hopefully this will speed up things. We do have power going to it. And we want to do a backup. Disk and partitions is what we would want to do. And right down here we have disk 1. Now this is partitions to backup. Yes, that is what we want. We want disk 1. We want to do all of those. My mouse is not cooperating. And so we're going to go to see the size. Remember, it was 93 gigabytes that we did see, so we have confirmation there. And we know it's not this one, disk 2, because that's the Acronis that we're actually using right now. Create a new backup archive. I'm trying, this mouse is not cooperating. I don't know why. This is the target backup archive. I'm trying to get to the browse. And this one right here is the one that we want to back up to. That is this drive right here. We can generate a name. Just do a, yeah, my backup, or what we could do is actually call it, I think I called this thing small stuff. Small stuff. Okay, so now we can click OK. This is, okay, we just click next here. That's fine. And this is proceed. Now, you're making a backup of the drive, the NVMe that's on here, to here, using this. This could take some time depending on how much data you have. This does actually just back up the data. It does not back up the actual entire disk or space that this could potentially have. So that's a cool thing about Acronis. You do have other options down there where it says you can restart the computer after the operation is complete, or shut down the computer when the operation is complete. I never do either. I like to shut it down myself. All right, so it looks like it's just about done. Look at that, already done, 93 gigabytes. Okay, so since our backup is done, we're gonna go ahead and close out of that. We can turn the power off. Unplug this, unplug this, or disconnect, and now, actually we do want to keep this back in because I do want to show you a recovery for this, because I have nothing on this drive, but I do want to show you that it can work. So we're going to plug that back into there. We're going to plug this back in, even though I said unplug it. Start this back up, and we're going to go right back into that recovery window. We can see right here it says backup or recover. Now what do you think we're going to do? We're going to go, now this mouse doesn't like to work. Actually, it should work there, no problem. I don't know what's going on here. So we're going to click on recover. No items to display. Why? Why? Why is there no items to display? So let's go to browse for backups. Let's go down here to this PC. Right here. Why is it not seeing it? Let me disconnect. And then we're going to reconnect. Let's see if it works any better. Browse for backups. Hey, there we go. Then we're going to click on small stuff, because that's the way we named it. We're going to click OK. See, it says small stuff. And we're going to double click on that, actually. I think. I don't see any other buttons. Am I missing the button? Let's see here. There should be another button to proceed. So if I do right click, it says recover. Okay, I made it a little bit bigger. Sometimes they have another button down there, but it looks like we got to come up here. We have to do a right click right there and then click recover. Recover whole disk and partitions, or recover chosen files and folders. So let's go ahead and click next, and we can click the date. Select date and time. Oh, the time. We got to select the time also. Got to read sometimes. And then we click next, and disk 1. So we want to do all of the partitions. We're just going to do them all. And then we're going to click next. It's going to analyze. It's going to be, there's 0 space before, and then partitions, space after, yakety yak. So let's go ahead and proceed. That's exactly what we want. And then the free space afterwards, it's just telling you what the partitions are doing. This is what it's going to look like afterwards, after you recover the disk. Select the target disk, which would be the Western Digital Black. Nope, that's not what we want. This is the target disk, because this is the Western Digital Black, and the target disk is our 1 terabyte T-Force. So our target is going from, our target disk is under here. This is the source. And proceed. Now you can see that it's actually, the light is blinking and it's taking all the data, the big picture of whatever it took before, and it's putting it right back on that same drive. So it's going to be like nothing ever happened. You go ahead, and if you think that this is slower, it may be more complicated in a way, but if you think this is time consuming compared to reinstalling Windows, reinstalling all of your updates, reinstalling all of your programs, activating all your programs, all of your apps and stuff that was there, no longer. You have to go through that. That can take days sometimes, if not just the rest of your day. Already done. So, we go to OK. What do? We close this down, shut this off, disconnect both this one and this one, turn it right back on, and this thing will boot right into Windows like nothing ever happened. You're going to see the same icons, same everything, even where the icon placement usually is always the same. Now look, we wouldn't have that if we weren't getting into Windows. Back into Windows. No sweat, no problem. So in my next video, what I think we're going to do is file deletion. So if you deleted a file by accident, you can actually use this to recover some of the files. So if you want to stick around for that one, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's pretty easy. It's pretty much the same thing. You just go to File. Instead of recovering the whole thing, you're just going to select what file you want to recover. But we need to create a file, something that we can delete by accident. But you need to have the backup done before the deletion. So then once you delete it, you can use the backup to actually recover that single file. So stay tuned for that one. That's going to come up probably next. And then we're going to go into a slew of other things within Acronis, which is pretty cool. So yeah, stick around, give this thing a thumbs up. Also comment down below for any questions, or just say hi. Just be nice, and also consider subscribing and hit that bell icon to get notified for any future videos that I do post. And until next time, guys, take care.